office fragrance? Well, that's pretty subjective, but what I'm going to tell you, and my personal definition of it is, you want to smell good, but you don't want old Brittany and Karen over there in the next cubicle reporting you to the manager because you used too much cologne. So, an office fragrance is one that's not going to get you on, basically, not going to make you the reason for a new company, no fragrance policy, and it's going to allow you to dress up, adapt a fragrance that is not going to be pungent and intoxicating in the worst possible ways to everyone around you. Because of that, there's going to be no divisive notes, no leather, no tobacco, nothing strong. Someone told me once that their perfect office fragrance was Leighton, and I was like, buddy, you ain't doing this right. I've seen people wear like Aventus, like horrible. So, top 10 fragrances. If you're a fraghead like me, these probably won't be in your top 10 of all time, but they are some really solid fragrances that are sweet, citrusy. That's what I think an office fragrance should be: citrus, energetic, happy. Makes sense. Now, shockingly, you're not going to start off this list with Office for Men by Fragrance One and Jeremy Fragrance. I know you all are upset about that. Grabbing the pitchforks, grabbing the torches. I wanted to blow $350 on a mediocre, average fragrance. I know that's what you're all saying, but I think office fragrances should also be pretty on the cheap. So we're going to have some good smelling, inoffensive, cheap fragrances here for y'all. Let's just get up and going. Okay, I got my tester strips here because darn near some of these I done forgot what some of them even smelled like. So the very first fragrance that I have here though is Joseph Abboud Mountain, and this, the reason why I have this is because it is currently at TJ Maxx. If you're watching this video way down the line, or you don't have a TJ Maxx next to you, don't go out and spend $70 retail on this. This was a $15 pickup. This is a wonderful office fragrance because it's fresh, it's mountainous, it's green, it's earthy, it's citrusy, masculine. But if some Karen says, hey, oh, he's wearing too much cologne, he's doing it, you just say, man, that Old Spice is really kicking, because that's what this is like. It's just a spicy, wonderful men's fragrance, and it's great. But like I said, if you don't have a TJ Maxx near you, don't spend retail, $80 or whatever on this. Just don't do it. It's not worth that. But it was good enough that I tried it, I loved it, and I went back and bought another bottle for Christmas gifts. So I liked it that much. Okay, next. We're gonna go on to, let's see, I think, y'all, this is crazy. I only have one Middle Eastern fragrance here, and I think that's probably because Middle Eastern fragrances are not subtle. Typically, they are designed to replicate niche fragrances, which are typically very strong and unique. But this one is not really either of those things. It sounds bad, but it's not. And this is Dareej by Rasasi. I haven't done tapping in a while. Do some tapping. That's fun. So, when I got this guy, I was like, it's pretty weird for Versace, because Versace is very strong typically, and this, not so much. In fact, when I got this, I said, I think I actually ranked it number 1 on my fragrance haul video. It's gorgeous. It starts with this gorgeous, beautiful opening of this floral citrus. And as it sits, it gets a little bit more masculine, but it keeps that same floral citrus vibe to it. A little bit of bergamot, perhaps, or another type of orangey, citrusy fragrance. And as it sits, it does not get offensive. I swear, I don't think that there will be anybody in the world that is offended by Dareej. And it's good. You talk about probably 4 to 5 hours of performance. It does not project the sillage, which is what you want in an office fragrance. You don't want to be in an office fragrance and have, old Catherine at the other end of the cubicle, all the way on the other end of the room, sticking up, going like a freaking ostrich. Who's doing that? Who do I report? Who do I report? You can tell I've had some experience with these Catherines, and there's just a way that you have to be tactful. Now here's the thing: you wear what you have to work. The second you get out, man, I'm wearing whatever I want. Yeah, and I'd recommend you do the same. But here's the thing: some of these fragrances are not settling. Some of these fragrances are that good that this is not settling. I would pick this bottle of Dareej even if I wasn't going to the office and I was picking whatever I want. It's a 4-season fragrance. It's fresh. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. And the best part, it's like $20. No brainer. Okay. So, this next one, I am going to name brand designer Versace. And this is blue jeans. Now, this is a little dangerous, and the reason why is because I've read some forums that people hate blue jeans. I don't understand it. It's not a bad fragrance. Some people say that it smells like bug spray, and I don't get it. It's like a firing something else in there. I mean, when it first starts out as like super fresh, floral, almost like laundry detergent. And as it sits, it gets powdery, very powdery. So this is probably like one of the most niche, unique fragrances probably on this list, because a lot of them stick to a very citrus kind of vibe. This has a very powdery, fresh, clean, floral, violets, roses kind of thing. The fact people call this bug spray, I want to know, what bug spray you buying? Number 3, Versace's blue jeans, and the cheapest Versace fragrance you can get, and you can pick this guy up for $20. I don't want to tell you the wrong number, but that is a guesstimation. And actually, when people are asking me to review fragrances, that's probably the number 1 that people ask me about is, can you do one on blue jeans? It's good. Now and forevermore, it's good. I don't reach for it continuously, but it is good. Okay. This next one is from another designer, and this is from the house of Calvin Klein. There were a lot I could have picked. I didn't want to pick CK1 because it's a little bit too in your face, and I had Free in my hand, and I had Into You in my hand, and I could have picked either of them, but instead I went with CK Be. And I gotta make some tapping noise with this one because it's just, love this bottle. Let's see. I love that. Okay, so CK Be is one of the most affordable fragrances fragrances from Calvin Klein or any designer that you're gonna get. 1, 2. Goodness. That wasn't really a spray, that was more like a fire hose. And it's just clean and it's inoffensive, just like the rest of these. When you spray it, first off, don't, for the love of God and all things holy, do not grab a bottle of Calvin Klein, unscrew the cap, because all the caps unscrew on these types of bottles, these canteen style bottles, and smell it. Don't do it. All of you are probably like grabbing for it now, like I've never tried that. So cologne is more heavily concentrated with alcohol than even moonshine. It is basically Everclear with flavor, or with notes. And when you open up a Calvin Klein fragrance like that and sniff it, it turns you off from the fragrance. You're like, what the heck? Because it smells like rubbing alcohol. But it's not. Instead, what you get is a vibrant, fruity, floral arrangement. And this is what I think of with office fragrances. Fresh, floral, citrusy, energetic. Think a Clinique for Men, or Happy by Clinique. A little bit like that, but I think that was a little too strong. That's why it didn't make, but it could have made it. And I love CKB. This is also something that's not going to project a lot. And it might perform 2 or 3 hours, but that's about it. So I think that's great. You work 3 hours, take a lunch break, come back, spray again, or put something else on. Who cares? You know, it's all up to you. You know what you want to do. So I really like CKB, and for the price of $15, you can't beat it. It's a no-brainer. I've seen this at the rack stores too, like the Marshalls and the Ross and that kind of stuff. The CKB. Alright. This next 2 are oldies but goodies. And this one is Usher. Now, there's a lot of citrus. First off, you can't go super citrus in an office fragrance because it becomes cloying and annoying. And then you can't go too floral because people are going to have allergic reactions, or if it's going to give them migraines, it'll probably be because of the floral notes. So, it's a fine balance. And a lot of these office fragrances are pretty unisex. And I would always recommend unisex fragrances if you are going to be around a lot of people, right? Because men might not like super feminine fragrances. Women don't like super masculine fragrances. If you can find that middle ground, you're good. But I also wanted to put something in here that was just manly. I could have gone with a couple, but for this video, I got Usher. Usher is a black, spicy fragrance. But do not let the bottle fool you like CKB. There's nothing spicy about CKB, but it's a black bottle too. And Usher, right off the bat, you get hit with this super citrus, almost lemon kind of vibe to it. Super playful, dancing fragrance, glorious, friendly, inviting. But then when it sits down, it has these masculine, musky, woodsy notes. And this, I feel, is the perfect, inoffensive man's fragrance. Why? Because you have some fruitiness in there, and you have some musk. You have some, not musk, but you have some muskier notes and some more masculine notes. I think it's going to be fun for the whole family. And as it sits, it still maintains a lot of that fruitiness, which I think only makes it better. So, what is that? That's 5, number 5. Usher for Men, harder to get these days. Back when I first first tried Usher, they had them at J.C. Penney's. You know, they had them in the sets with the lotions and the body wash. It's a little bit harder to find now, and that's why it's gone up to around $25 to $30, but it's still a solid buy. Okay. I told you I have another oldie, and here it goes. Diesel for men. Let's bring it back. Let's give it a comeback. So, when I was younger, I used to think Diesel was the coolest thing, and I couldn't afford it. Obviously, as a teenager, this was very expensive for me. I had like $60, and that was a fortune for me. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I always used to think Diesel was very, very masculine and musky, and then I bought it on video featured. I bought all my childhood fragrances. A lot of fun, and it was none of those things. It was none of those things that I remembered about it. And this is the Diesel for life, not only the strong or any of those ones. Yeah, so I thought that Diesel was just pure musk and masculine and spicy, and it's not. It's not those things at all. Instead, what you have is a sweetness, an over-the-top sweetness. You have a sweetness breaking in with a little bit of woodsy notes. It's not citrus. It's just maybe a little bit of floral, but some sort of indiscernible fruit that I can't pick out. But it's very sweet, very energetic, very friendly, very opening and welcoming and inviting. I don't know why. Diesel chose this to be their, whatever. Back then, I thought Diesel was kind of like, masculine, tough, leather jackets. Like, I would expect this to just be a straight up baller, and it's not. It's friendly, citrusy, sweet. And I really like it. When it dries down, it almost becomes a little bit powdery, which I also like for an office scent. Very, very good. Very good. Okay. We got four more. Okay. Next. We have I believe, one of the most undervalued, underappreciated designers, and that is Hugo Boss. And this one is Hugo Boss Man. Now, Hugo Boss has like 16 man fragrances. All I can tell you is that this is an EDT, and it is called Hugo Boss Man. I think they have another one called Boss Man. I don't know, but Hugo Boss fragrances are typically pretty in your face, and this one's not. This one's pretty subtle. Oh man, that's just gorgeous. So again, I picked these all. They have somewhat similar openings and patterns and notes, and that's why I picked them. You can't go wrong with any of these. Hugo Boss Man is just a gorgeous blended, so well blended, I almost can't even pick out the notes. It's just an opening of freshness, cleanness, happiness, energy. You spray this on, you just want to get stuff done. You smell good. It's inoffensive. No one's going to be upset. Kind of reminds me of like a tangerine. And again, it does dry down to be powdery. And man, I just don't think you can go wrong with this for an office fragrance. Now, would I wear this out and about? No. This is one of those fragrances that I would get for an office setting to not be offensive to other people. Okay. exception of Dareej. These next three, in fact, this third one, I'd probably sub out with Dareej, but we're getting a little bit bolder with these ones, and a little more expensive. So this one is called Friction, and it's by a company. If it'll focus. And this company is called FCUK Friction. Now, when I first saw this fragrance name, I was like, that's awesome. I truly thought that they were swearing at me. I truly thought, have you ever had that happen to you when you thought you heard something like super inappropriate and you're like, wait, what'd you say? And they said something and it like wasn't inappropriate at all. And you're like, oh, like I was almost like about to be proud of you kind of thing. That's FCUK for me, man. I was like, y'all just figured out a way to put one of the worst curse words and just like monetize it and put on everything. That wasn't the case, apparently. One of my wonderful viewers from the UK said it's pronounced FCUK, so they don't say FCUK. I really want to call it FCUK. I think it's just great. It sounds like a chicken. It's like FCUK. It's not. And the company, even though it's based in the UK, is called French Connection. So I believe what the FC is French Connection, and then the UK is UK. French Connection, UK, FCUK, FCUK. So, man, I was disappointed. I'm like, I thought they were cursing at me, and I was like, good for you, but I don't know. I'll tell you the truth. This is going to make me sound like an idiot, but I straight up bought this because it said FCUK on it. So, what are you going to do? But I also bought it because these fragrances go for like $12. And so, blind buying $12 fragrances, it's very little risk. Enough of FCUK. Let's try it. I like the bottle. It's simple. This is plastic. So you got this plastic over here. And then you have the glass. So, FCUK, here we go. The one thing that I remember about the label of this fragrance is it says all kinds of nonsense about like trademarks and copyrights and all this stuff, and I'm like, man, your name is FCUK. Like, calm down, like chill. So this fragrance actually starts powdery. I don't know why I don't wear this more often. This is a sweet powdery fragrance, almost like light blue. If light blue had a sweet, somewhat citrus backing to it, because it is so crazy powdery. A little floral notes, a little woodsiness. It ties it in. It's for men, but it's also very unisex, very female friendly. I don't know if I would wear this if I was a woman. I'm not a woman, so I guess I'll never find out. But it is very unisex, very much inoffensive to women. And it's just good, man. It's just good. Like I said, the only thing I can really compare this to is light blue for men. If that light blue had a underlying sweet and citrus note to it, I think it could be somewhat similar. It's good, and like what I've said from the beginning, it's totally inoffensive. No one's gonna hate this fragrance. If anything, people are just gonna feel nothing towards it, which is what you want. Okay. My last two are a little bit offensive. I've tried to be inexpensive. But these two are not. And I wanted to put this in here because I'm sure there's some people out there that are like, even though I work around people, I still want to have something unique. And you know what? Go for it. You don't need a office fragrance. Wear whatever you want. But just like I said, man, it's not going to be any time at all before you start having people complain about you. Because that's what happened everywhere I go. People complain about my fragrances. And if I'm even when I'm the boss, like even when I'm in charge, they'll complain about it. And I tell you what, man, if you are not in a position to say, screw you, I don't care, I'm not going to conform to what you want me to smell like, it can mess you up, it could, lose your job or whatever. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Put on something clean, fresh, but I ain't out to, make anyone lose their job. That's the point of these fragrances. So, okay. With that being said, these last two push the boundaries a little bit. And number 2 is going to be Coach Platinum. Now, Coach Platinum is very different from the other coaches. When I think of Coach, I think of in your face. The red, the blue, and the green. They're pretty in your face. They are not abrasive necessarily, but they're there. You can tell they're there, and they're unique. This, not so much. Or it's unique, but it's not in your face. It's subtle. It's neutered. And honestly, when I first got it, that's what made me disappointed in it. But the profile is wonderful. Like, how much y'all have to spend? Because if you have $45 to $50, Coach Platinum wins. It beats all of these. Not everybody has $45, $50 to drop on a fragrance, and that's why fragrances like FCUK are important. Fragrances like Versace Blue Jeans are important. Dareej. But if you have, what is my hair doing? If you have, and don't go to Ulta or the box stores, get from a discounter. If you go to a discounter, you can grab this guy for, I've seen it as low as $35. And it's an incredible fragrance. So right off the bat, you're getting kind of like an earthy, metallic undertone of citrus and freshness, powderiness. It's there. It's present. It's masculine, but it's friendly. It's open. It's inviting. It's rich. It hits way above its weight class. It's a designer fragrance, yes, but it smells like something that would easily go for $120, $150. As it sits, it continues to keep that sweetness, but start putting in a subtle bitter notes into it. Masculine notes, woodsiness comes through, and it's just gorgeous. It really is. So, Coach Platinum. The only Coach I would recommend as an office scent, because I think all of them are pretty divisive and pretty in your face and have the opportunity and the possibility and even the probability of giving old Jennifer across the road a migraine. So I've never had a man complain about fragrances before. I don't know, maybe I'm just being sexist, I don't know, but I've never had a man complain about fragrances before. It's always middle-aged women, always, without fail. Okay. Maybe that's just men just grin and bear it. Maybe it does impact them, but I don't know. Okay, number one. This is the expensive one. This is the one that you all know. And I'll tell you why I put this in here. It's very simple, because this, I think, is the best performing offensive fragrance that I know and have in my collection. Listen, is it going to change the world? No. Is it the reinvention of the wheel? No. Is it unique? No. But does it do all of those things very well that a fragrance should do? And that is always going to be a yes from this guy. It's my first impression fragrance. It's my job interview fragrance. It is my first date fragrance. And that is going to be Myself from YSL. I don't even have to spray this, but I will because I love it. This is the Eau de Parfum. Expensive. $150 a bottle. I don't, honestly. I have this big guy, right? And I have not. See how much I got left? I got a lot left. It's almost full. I have not seen these on discount stores, and I know they're there. I just haven't looked for them, so I don't know what it's at now. But I think Sauvage is too generic. I think Y-Man is too complex. I think a lot of these fragrances tote the line of stuff we love, right? Fragrance lovers love that. It's just not for the office setting unless your office is just cool. And if so, wear whatever you want. But I'm out for old Betty. Old Betty in the corner that's looking to crucify you, and she just wants you to give her a reason. And Myself will stop that from happening. Myself opens up with some bergamot. It hits you with some maybe patchouli in the base, a little musky woodsiness. Sweet, perfumey, powdery fragrance. But citrus, not sweet as in candy. Sweet is just citrus. Oranges, right? Bergamot. It projects okay. It projects better than all of the other ones. And it lasts for a while. Downsides, it might be too good. And it's expensive. So, but if you're looking for an absolute inoffensive fragrance, it's got to be YSL Myself. So, okay, everybody, let's do a quick rundown. Joseph Abboud, Mountain. Dareej by Rasasi, and don't sleep on Dareej. I'm telling you, do not sleep on Dareej. CK Be. Up next, we got Versace's The Blue Jeans. Very good fragrance, powdery, not bug spray. Up next, we got Usher for Men. I think they might. That's confusing, man. It's like Michael Jordan. Either they're gonna discontinue it, or it's gonna live forever, like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is like 40 years old. Fragrance, and it's still going. They're still making it. Hugo Boss Man. Diesel. Fuel for Life. Really good. FCUK Friction. Again. Yeah. I get some light blue vibes from that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is a clone of light blue. I'm not saying it's substantially close to where people are going to say light blue. No, they're not going to say that. It just has the same vibes to me as light blue. Coach Platinum. I think if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, either get Dareej or Coach Platinum. That's just my opinion. And then my best is going to be Myself. But like I said, dollars to donuts. If you want the best deal, the best bang for your buck, the hardest hitting fragrance that's also not going to upset Mary Catherine in the corner, staring daggers at you, it's gonna be Notice how I didn't give you $400 fragrances, $500 fragrances. Notice how I didn't drop in my own fragrances that I make. It's because I don't have any, and I don't get paid for this, and I don't get stuff for free, and I pay and I buy everything myself. So those are my real answers. Those are some good fragrances for offices. Are they the most fun, luxurious, fancy? No. I'd wear red tobacco every day. You can't do that in office. Heck no, heck no. So, that's what I got. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all on the next one.